So welcome everybody. Thank you again for coming to our third review of some social studies curricula that we could take a look at. I appreciate all of you being here. Hopefully you were able to rejuvenate a little bit this weekend with the nice weather that we had for, seems like most of the time we've been home, but it's been miserable outside. So I know that the sun is tempting all of us now, so I really do appreciate you being here, giving us your input and doing this review. Christine, anything you want to say about the group before we begin?
The only thing I just wanted to mention is that it is being recorded, so if for some reason you're coming in late or you have to leave early for an IEP meeting or another commitment, not a problem. I will send the link to everybody once they send it to me. And also, just to reiterate, the notes that you're taking when you're seeing the presentations are for your own reference and for your own basically recollection so that you can keep the program straight in your own mind. I won't be collecting any of your notes or anything like that. It was just an organizational tool to help you. And today our program is an excellent program. Many of you are familiar with the Nystrom because we use their Atlas materials. And they put together a custom presentation for us today. What we're going to do is we're going to remain muted, and they're going to explain to you how you can post your questions in the chat box, and they'll make sure they address all of our questions today during the presentation. And at the end, we'll walk you through how you can connect and get access to their program materials so you can look a little further through the quest on your own time after today's presentation. And again, I'm just so appreciative of all of you that could take this time to participate in this presentation today, because I think it's very valuable. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Lori and Nicole, and take it away, girls.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lori Swiger. I am your Nystrom rep in Maryland. So I'm just a couple hours away from you. And joining me today are Nicole Padilla, which is the Colorado rep. Nicole, raise your hand.
Hello. Hello.
And Cindy Gosser, who is in, I would get it mixed up, Indiana. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. Hi, guys.
And Cindy's going to be monitoring our chat today. So a couple housekeeping things. If you want to send a chat, if you have a question, we're going to save the questions until the end. But if you want to, go ahead. Up in the upper right-hand corner, there should be a little speech bubble. If you click on that, you can type in your question and press send, and Cindy will get it on her end, and at the end, we'll answer all of those. Make sure your audio is off. I am going to mute you from my end, and you can turn your webcam off. So you don't have to worry about, fixing your hair or anything fun like that. So we want to welcome you to our Washington Township. We're so excited. Washington Township K-5 grade curriculum presentation called Young Citizens. And I'm going to turn my webcam off now so that I don't have that in the way. And then I'm going to mute everyone.
Lori, we can't hear you.
Can you guys hear me? This is Cindy. Christina?
Yes.
Cindy, I can hear you, but I can't hear Lori.
Okay.
We didn't hear anything.
Okay, give me 1 minute. Let me get her back to just technical problems. Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now, Lori. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so can you guys hear me, Christine?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so what I did was I pressed unmute all. So if you could mute yourself, that might help, because it seems like when I muted all, it muted myself. So okay, let's get this thing started. So again, welcome to our presentation of Young Citizens today. So happy to be here.
We can't hear you again.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Thank you, Christine, for having Nicole and I today, and we are so excited to share Young Citizens, our K-5 elementary program with all of you. These friendly student characters provide the narrative of the program and are designed to engage your students. I'm excited to show you how this program works, and we're going to use these friends as our guide. This is Carlos, Peyton, Lena, Nystrom Young Citizens is a social studies and literacy program that has a strong ELA foundation, builds critical thinking skills, and fosters social studies framework for college, career, and civic life for social studies, literacy skills, depth of knowledge, and 21st century skills. The content strands for K-2 and 3-5 focus on 2 areas. The program has a strong correlation to both the America and the World content strand and the active citizenship in the 21st century content strand. Additionally, Nystrom Young Citizens has a strong foundation in civics as called for in the New Jersey practices, addressing both in-depth study of democratic processes and providing opportunities for students to engage in authentic civic issues. In this presentation, we will be calling out examples of each of these practices. The College, Career, and Civic Life Framework I previously mentioned recommends, and Nystrom Young Citizens incorporates, is an inquiry-based approach to learning through a process called the Social Studies Inquiry Arc, which is asking good questions and developing robust investigations into them, considering possible solutions and consequences while using tools and concepts of social science disciplines, separating steps, such as how are blank and blank alike? How are they different? The third level of DOK is strategic thinking, which involves reasoning, developing a plan or sequence of steps, and more than one reasonable approach. An example is how is blank related to blank? The fourth level of DOK is extended thinking. This requires connections and extensions, high cognitive demands, and complex reasoning. They need time for extended thinking. An example of this would be researching and writing a report. Look for this progression of higher order thinking in Nystrom Young Citizens, student skills lessons, activity sheets, and teacher's guides, teacher plans. It's never too early to prepare young students for college and career. That is why Nystrom Young Citizens incorporates 21st century skills like understanding concepts and content, thinking critically, solving problems, collaborating well with others, using technology appropriately, and responsibly managing time and behavior. Today we're going to focus on 4 areas: the 2020 New Jersey Student Learning Standards of Social Studies, literacy and English language arts connections, the hands-on nature of the program and opportunities for differentiation, and ease of use in your classroom, whether it be distant or on-site. Nystrom Young Citizens integrates language arts skills within social studies. Activities throughout the program build proficiency in reading both nonfiction texts and literature, writing narrative, informational, and opinion pieces, and speaking and listening. Language arts and social studies share a core of critical thinking skills that form the cornerstones of comprehension. Sequencing, comparing, and contrasting, recognizing cause and effect, drawing conclusions, and evaluating are just a few. Student books, leveled student readers, and group activity cards are used to teach and reinforce these skills. To maximize student success, we weave reading comprehension strategies into the social studies content and concepts. Strengthening students' reading skills not only improves their comprehension of this material, but also gives them tools to tackle other types of reading. Offering a wide range of nonfiction reading materials, informational text, builds reading comprehension skills. Vocabulary development contributes to phonological awareness development, improves reading comprehension, and promotes fluency. Now, since the world has changed a little bit, and you are distance teaching, we will focus more on the digital aspects of the program. Studies have shown that early introduction to a wide variety of words is an important predictor of later success in school. Each section of the student book and every leveled student reader introduce important domain-specific vocabulary in context. Both books also include a glossary with an often illustrated entry to reinforce and clarify the meaning of vocabulary words. The teacher's guide provides short, interactive activities that reinforce meaning and pronunciation of every vocabulary word from the student book. Vocabulary words reused in new sections are pointed out under the Review Vocabulary heading of the teacher's guide. This is an example of where the vocabulary is found in the student book, in the teacher's guide, and in the leveled readers. Nystrom Young Citizens includes many primary sources for analysis. Primary sources are included in every leveled student reader, group activity cards, and student books, which are also all digital. Their appropriate grade levels. Frequent photos and illustrations from the past are in the primary sources. Students examine, study, and analyze primary sources. And students judge the reliability of sources. They look at 2 or more sources on the same topic and distinguish primary and secondary sources. The leveled readers provided in 4 levels create more time for you to differentiate on other parts of the lessons and combine social studies content and language arts skills. Through the library of leveled readers, the program seamlessly blends language arts with social studies. These readers are also a strong fit for reading and writing instruction. These are included in your digital access. Student books include core readings, graphic novel narrative with comic strips that proposes an essential question at the start of each chapter and frames the big idea of the chapter. The student book also includes a Patriot's Handbook, a grade-appropriate atlas, and a glossary. on Maps and Globes. It emphasizes geographic literacy, which is literacy. Activity cards for collaborative group learning and hands-on writable desk maps that are designed uniquely for each grade level come with every grade of Young Citizens. Your activity cards and desk maps in your pilot are also digital. There is also a set of state outline maps. In your classroom, the activity cards help young students engage in discussion with their peers as they complete their group tasks. The Maps and Globes ground abstract concepts in something tangible and concrete. This hands-on approach is a powerful differentiation tool, including for struggling readers, and serves as strong visual support. Geographic literacy, when integrated with other modalities, deepens understanding and increases retention. And Nicole?
Thank you, Lori. So in a perfect world, you'd be in your classroom teaching your students with the hands-on pieces, globes, desk maps, and markers. In this new distance world, you have the capability and access to the digital pieces 24/7. As we walk through the lesson I'm about to show you, we'll have suggestions as to how you can use the hands-on resources in a distance learning environment.
Now let's take a deeper look at a lesson. After the presentation today, you're going to be embarking on a quest that will walk you through your grade level in detail. The framework of this lesson, teacher's guide, and components are set up the same in each grade. Nicole will be walking through a first grade lesson today to illustrate to you how the program is set up.
Okay. So let's walk through Grade 1, Chapter 3, Lesson 4, Changing Our Neighborhood. You can see here from Grade 1, table of contents, you would have already taught about your school. And next, students will learn about their neighborhood. Eventually, students will dive into state and U.S. studies. We're going to walk through the sample lesson from the perspective of the student first, and then switch to the teacher view. I chose this lesson because how things change over time is one of the most important social studies concepts taught in elementary school and revisited throughout a student's academic career. This idea of how things change over time spirals through the program, and you'll see it appear in many ways through each of the grade levels. This lesson begins by sending a letter home to engage parents on the topic that you'll be covering that week. Pre-assessment to assess students' prior knowledge is provided. The Getting Started section is focused on activating that prior knowledge. The teacher's guide is available in a PDF format online, and you can download specific pages to be emailed or shared using whatever platform you're using, such as Google Classroom, for example. According to the teacher's notes in the teacher's guide, I would begin the lesson by writing environment and geography if I were in the classroom or even in an online meeting. Here is the accompanying lesson in the student book, Chapter 3, Lesson 4 of first grade. Next, I would have them find the vocabulary words on the page and talk about the definitions. Lastly, they would describe the environment around the school and talk about the definition of geography. They can do this at home with their parents, or the teacher can use the book during online class instruction. In the bottom paragraph, you see the vocabulary words defined. I would have students point to the definitions and discuss. In this lesson, students explore the changes people make to the land. The students will use their student book, community desk map, the globe, and a think book to help. A think book is simply a notebook or even a collection of loose leaf paper stapled together that allows students to reflect on the compelling questions and other social studies topics. It creates a space for a student-created chapter review. The desk map is available in the teacher materials online as a PDF. It can be shared via email or posted in an online sharing platform that you may be using. These materials can also be put together in a packet for the students that have limited or no access to the internet. We would wrap up by talking about how the environment used to be and how it looks now, using the student book. Tell students you are going to describe a place to them and they are to draw a picture of that place in their think books. Tell them that you're going to describe a place from over 150 years ago. Describe a farm with fields, trees, a barn, and a house. Talk about the horses that pull the plow and the wagon. Talk about cutting wood for the fire and baking bread. Mention that the schoolhouse is 3 miles away and that everyone walks to school. Have students share their pictures with others sitting near them. Talk about what they included in their drawings. Again, this could be done during any online class time you would be conducting if distance learning were to happen again. The next exercise uses the community desk map, if in-class instruction isn't available. The desk map can be modeled in an online meeting, sent out as instructions via email, or posted in a document sharing platform. You could also put the desk maps in a packet for use at home for the students that have little to no access to the internet. So, distributing the community desk map and map markers. Have the students find the factory. Explain that the factory is right where the barn and house used to be. The farm fields went south off the map, north to where the senior center is, east to where the police station is, and west right off the map. Have them draw a rectangle to show where the farm fence was, and then draw on a barn and on a house. Talk about why the map does not look like the place you described to them. Talk about what might have happened to the farm. For example, it might have been sold to build a factory, to build stores, or to build roads. Then have the students read the first paragraph of page 96 of the student book together. Tell them that the farm you described and the farm they drew was in a place that used to have a forest. Talk briefly about what the early settlers had to do to make their farm. Discuss why they might have chosen to farm where they chose, i.e. the land was fairly flat, there was water nearby, it wasn't rocky. Talk about other places off the map, for example, rivers, that might have encouraged early settlers, and places, such as mountains, that would have discouraged them. Finish reading page 96 in the student book. Have students brainstorm ways the land where the map is situated has changed. Have them record their ideas in their think book. At the end of the activity, you'll see the modifications for differentiation. The last two sections of each activity are modifications for differentiation for above grade level, below grade level ELL learners, and at least one extending suggestion. These modifications make social studies content accessible to every student regardless of level or learning style. Now, we're going to walk through the next activity of Chapter 3, Lesson 4 from the teacher's perspective. Note, every activity begins with an essential question. For Activity B, our essential question is, how do neighborhoods change? Note these icons at the top of the page. These are subject icons, and we put them at the beginning of every activity. They indicate the curriculum topics and the skills being addressed in that activity. Every activity will address 1 to 3 academic disciplines, either topics or skills. This allows for a smooth integration of ELA skills and 21st century skills within social studies content. And in Young Citizens, the social studies disciplines are not taught in isolation. They're integrated within the lessons. We know that early introduction to a wide variety of words is a predictor of later success in school, and that vocabulary development improves reading comprehension and it promotes fluency. For all of these reasons, vocabulary is front and center in the Young Citizens program. Every activity includes a new vocabulary section. Vocabulary that is reused in new sections are pointed out under Review Vocabulary heading. Every activity has a vocabulary focus section that provides various suggestions for students to interact with the vocabulary words. The Getting Started section often provides ways to get students thinking about new words or thinking deeper about words that they already know. The activities themselves reinforce meaning and pronunciation of each. At the end of the
there she is. Sorry, Nicole,
Am I back?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh, I am? Okay.
Yeah, you have to go back just to the beginning of that slide.
This one?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Okay, is this better?
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Okay. We know that early introduction to a wide variety of words is a predictor of later success in school, and that vocabulary development improves reading comprehension and promotes fluency. For all of these reasons, vocabulary is front and center in the young citizen. Every activity includes a new vocabulary section, vocabulary that is reused in new sections are pointed out under the Review Vocabulary heading. Every activity has a vocabulary focus section that provides various suggestions for students to interact with the vocabulary words. The Getting Started section often provides ways to get students thinking about new words or thinking deeper about words they already know. The activities themselves reinforce meaning and pronunciation of each word. Okay, at the end of this activity, there's an opportunity for formative assessment in the summarizing and assessing section. This is the first opportunity for a formative assessment. There are additional opportunities for assessment built into the Young Citizens program. Let's walk through them. In this activity, the formative assessment is using the leveled reader. The students record 2 or more things that are different from their life today. Again, the leveled reader is available digitally for the student. The third activity in this lesson is all about primary and secondary sources. This lesson provides 3 activities. You could choose which lesson you want to use, A, B, or C. You see the lesson closure assessment activity. It's a quick formative check-in for each of the activities. The following page in the teacher's guide, you'll see a summative review for the chapter. At the end of each chapter, you'll see a chapter project. This provides opportunities for collaborative learning and encourages students to apply what they've learned. It takes place over several days, includes day-by-day instructions, and an assessment rubric. The project is optional, but a great way to close the chapter. Then you'll see the chapter test. All of the various assessments that I just went over are available digitally where you can email, post, or put in a packet for distance learning. Thank you. Back to you, Lori.
We've chosen some projects here that correlate to the active citizenship in the 21st century standards, and these would be completed by grade 2. And again, we picked other projects that would be completed by grade 5 to meet those standards. Okay, let's review. The program is easy to use and implement. The teacher's guide is designed for easy preparation with straightforward, clearly organized, step-by-step instructions. The teaching materials include chapter compelling questions, objectives, letters home, getting started sections, pre-assessment, introductory activities, new and reviewed vocabulary, modifications for differentiation, summarizing and assessing sections, and lesson closure. And don't forget about the icons, the curriculum topic icons and the skills icons that are found at the top of each lesson. They're a very helpful guide. The digital teacher resources allow teacher access to all teacher materials from anywhere with internet access 24/7. The entire teacher's guide, including the print teacher guide, is available online. Lessons can be projected for whole class presentations, and additional interactive activities can be used to reinforce skills and content. Activity sheets and tests can be printed out to use in class. The digital resource also contains a gradebook with auto-grading, pre- and post-summative assessments, graphic organizers, state maps, atlases, and the Patriots Handbook. This is an example of a group activity card that you can download digitally. There is an accompanying ancillary for teachers called the Student Handouts, with all the student activity handouts and letters home in one book to copy, plus they are available online. The digital platform also provides access for students and parents to engage with the interactive activities at home to reinforce the classroom learning. Students can complete drag and drop, matching, highlighting, and sequencing activities, to name a few, that reinforce concepts taught in the book. And every lesson has 2 additional vocabulary activities online, one higher level depth of knowledge and one lower level. Typically, this activity is more visually oriented. This is an example of where a student can record their answer to the question, and it will be sent to the teacher. This is an example of sequencing in the activities, vocabulary matching, and drag and drop, just to name a few. Students can access their digital resources anytime from anywhere with internet access. They will find the student edition ebook and the leveled reader library online. The teacher can set the level they want to appear for the student and change it at any time. The Young Citizens program comes with one leveled reader integrated into each chapter. The reader reinforces or provides a counterpoint to topics from the student edition. All reader levels can be used side by side with the same content covered. The teacher guide indicates which activity in the chapter will use the reader. Each reader includes primary sources and offers pre- and post-reading activities and questions. Also a part of the program are the group activity cards, like I showed you a couple slides ago. These cards encourage collaborative learning and effective communication and employ reading strategies to improve student depth of knowledge. There are 8 sets of cards, one for each chapter, covering a variety of social studies topics, such as primary sources, holidays, and making decisions. And here is your kindergarten program component: student book, teacher's guide, digital platform, community and world desk map, hands-on activity globe, group activity cards, leveled student readers, and a floor map. At the end of every grade, when I go through every grade, at the end you're going to get step-by-step instructions for your particular grade of how to get in, how to log in, and go ahead and start with your quest of your particular grade. Similar to the kindergarten program, the first grade program retains the same format. The second grade program repeats kindergarten and first grade pattern. And same with the third grade. And this is your New Jersey fourth grade program. So it retains the same kind of format, except you will have New Jersey desk maps with this, this great new program for New Jersey. And here is fifth grade. grades 4 and 5 are fully releasing July 1st. So the 4th and 5th grade teachers, you're going to be looking at a temporary set for your 2 grades when you do your quest. But the full program will be completed July 1st. For professional development, research states that professional learning is essential to effective classroom implementation, and we are committed to providing a professional plan that provides teachers with opportunities for learning over an extended period of time. Our professional development includes on-site training for specific products, Young Citizens being one, webinars, one-on-one assistance, online courses, and my email and personal cell phone number. And I'm backed by our help desk, so you can call me anytime, 7 a.m. all the way up to 10 at night. Text me, whatever you need. I'm here for you. And we hope that Washington Township will join these characters in Young Citizens in teaching meaningful content through their new distance learning. And this is your personal website. So if everyone could write this website down, this website is going to give you the option to choose your grade right at the top. When you choose your grade and you just scroll down just a little bit, it's going to give you your username and password and a login button. So you can log in directly from this website. We built it specifically for Washington Township. So that everything that you need is right there on that page to get in online. And I believe Christine is going to send you, if she hasn't already, your personalized grade level step-by-step instructions for your quest that you're going to do.
Yes, I sent them today.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the slide in 1 second.
4th grade had an update. You sent me an update yesterday, so 4th grade, I sent you an email last night with the updated quest for 4th grade reflecting the New Jersey component.
Yes. So this is me, this is my email, and that's my cell phone number so that I want everybody to write it down so you have it, and feel free, don't feel bad about, if it's too early or too late. I'm there for you, and if you have any questions, please feel free to text or call me or email me. And I'm going to go back to that screen so that everybody has it to write it down. And then if you have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat bar if you haven't already. And then Cindy, do you want me to turn it over to you, or you go ahead and take the screen? Or how do you want it?
Yeah, no, we can leave it on the screen, Lori. I'll just run through some of the questions, and then I'm sure that between the 3 of us, we can get most of these answered. Okay. The first question came from Stephanie, and she wanted to know if it was compatible with Seesaw.
With what? Seesaw?
Seesaw? Uh-huh.
I haven't heard that one yet.
I believe it is, Lori. I can talk to Erin to confirm, but that is something that we can make sure is compatible for.
Okay. Christine, I can
The second question. Yeah. The second question is from Anita, and she wanted to know if the program is all digital. And then Stephanie also was wondering the same question. Hers was, is this a textbook only or also online? So I'll let you take that one, Lori.
So everything we just presented to you can be used digitally as well. The only thing that isn't in there is the globe, because that is a physical globe. This is a hands-on product that would typically be used in a classroom and digitally at home. But since we're faced with what we're faced with now, it can certainly be used digitally at home. The only thing that you would not have at home is a globe.
Okay. The next question is from Janine. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. If the project was introduced, the chapter project, I believe is what she's referring to, was introduced at the beginning of each chapter, could it drive rationale for each lesson to increase authentic learning? And in other words, does each lesson relate to the project in the same way?
Nicole, you want to answer that one?
I knew you were going to have me answer that one.
Yeah.
I was reading it. I would say, yes.
I would just say that, yes, they could introduce it to say what they're going to be, you know, what the project is going to be, and then what they're, you know, and then go from there with the lessons.
Yeah, the project offers specific objectives at the beginning of it. So that could help you kind of direct your students in what they're going to be focusing on. I don't know if every single lesson relates to the project in exactly the same way. I know it's going to take all of those lessons or a collection of those lessons to work through the project. I guess I shouldn't say every. But every lesson is not going to relate exactly the same way. But you could certainly put it at the beginning so that the students know what they're going to be focusing on. Linda also asked, will Washington Township be getting all the materials shown by grade level, or do they have to purchase additionally? And I think she's referring to the last slide, Lori, where we listed all of the materials.
So depending on, you know, if you go back in your classroom, I mean, this is a question for Christine, really, but this is what the whole program includes. So if you were in the classroom, you would get 30 student books. You would get 30 desk maps. You would get all the I think there's like, I can't remember, 10 sets of leveled readers or 7 sets of leveled readers. You get the globes. So depending on, I mean, that's what we're hoping, that everybody's back in a classroom and that, yes, the whole program will be purchased because it works best, and only because of the hands-on materials. However, it can be purchased just digitally as well.
Emily
that
asked,
would be a question,
can you modify?
Go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Can you modify the assessments digitally without having to recreate them?
The assessments
I don't believe you can, Emily.
PDF.
Yeah.
So,
the assessments are pre-created in a PDF document. Lori's correct.
Correct.
And Linda said, yes, the picture of maps. And it looks like that falls into the same
Yes,
same
your
answer.
community, so if you're looking at, so everything on, say, this page right here is digitally, except for your globe is not digital, but your desk maps are digital. Your group activity cards are digital.
Okay, those are all the questions I have. Is there anyone, should we unmute Lori or to see if there's any, that was everything that was in chat.
Okay. Let's see if I can unmute all. Everyone's unmuted. Christine, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I really appreciate the time you took today and for going to great lengths to customize your presentation for us in Washington Township. I did take the link that everybody can see right now, the really long socialstudies.com, Welcome Washington Township, and I added it to the information you had provided me prior, and I emailed that to everybody. So if you didn't have time to write it down or take a snapshot, you have that now emailed to you as well. And now you also have Lori's contact information should you have any problems whatsoever getting in to see the materials. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate your time. As I said, we've used your products in the past, and we're very pleased. So we just really appreciate the opportunity to see your program today. Does anybody else have any questions?
Okay. So while we're waiting to see if any questions pop up in the chat box, this is Gretchen. Hi. I just wanted to thank you again for coming to speak to our group, and I also wanted to thank the teachers that took the first day of Teacher Appreciation Week to be with us. Thank you so much for being so dedicated to looking at our programs. And like we said, if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat box. Additionally, I have a question for all of you at Nystrom. Do you anticipate how long it would take for us to get this recording? We've been waiting for the recording from last week, several days.
A recording from today?
Yes.
I've recorded it. I'm going to send it to you as soon as we get off of here. Which
That's
recording
perfect.
are you?
Vendor. So we've just been waiting because some people.
Oh no, I'll send it to you today. I'll send it right as soon as we get off.
Great. Thank you so much. That's helpful.
Yep. Yep.
And
I
Lori,
really enjoyed being here today, and this has been a great collaboration with my teammates with this with Washington Township. This presentation. And we just really appreciate the opportunity to, show it to you and tell you how great it is.
and it is compatible with Seesaw.
Okay.
So when you say it's compatible with Seesaw, what do you mean by that? What are we able to do?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not quite tech savvy enough with the program, like the back end of the program, to be able to answer that question.
Gotcha.
But I did talk to, I talked to our tech people, and he said it's something that we can make sure it crosses those platforms.
Gotcha.
Is Seesaw a single sign-on? Is Seesaw single sign-on?
No. Well, Seesaw is its own program. It's not like it's not a like SIS or a single sign-on. It is a program that we launch our own activities from. To parallel it to anything that's really a stretch, it would be like a Nearpod, where you would be able to take your stuff and put it into another digital platform to put out to our students. It allows us to communicate back and forth with students and families digitally, so we can see kids' work. We can have them post things.
Is it password protected?
Yes, in the sense that they have to log in with ClassLink.
Okay.
We'll get a more specific answer for you, and I'll send it to Christine, and then she can send it out to you. What is your name again?
Gretchen Gerber.
Oh, Gretchen. I didn't know it was your voice. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. We can do that for you. Any other questions?
I want to see something in the chat box. Oh, someone was just saying that we can upload lessons. Yeah. Okay. So no, thank you all for coming and attending today. Really appreciate your time, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.